First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to use my son's emergency fund to pay for my wife's dad's surgery? My male 37, son 9 years old, has coronary heart disease. We knew my son had a problem since my ex-wife was pregnant with him. He had an enormous procedure on his heart when he was 10 days old. We had a huge responsibility of making sure he was recovering, and the only people we talked to at the time were surgeons, pediatricians, and cardiologists. I didn't get to spend much time with him, missed a lot of great moments together because of his condition. But all that didn't matter. I just wanted him to grow up and be healthy just like any other normal kid. He's 9 years old, visits the doctor every week, and we're still dealing with issues. Every once in a while, there seems to be an issue coming up unexpectedly. Now we're dealing with arrhythmia, and it's terrifying because I really don't know where this is going. I have saved up money for him in case of an emergency. My current wife, who I met in 2018, has been supportive, even though she complains her salary isn't enough. She works at a salon. Unfortunately, my father-in-law hasn't been doing well. He too has a chronic condition, and it got worse lately. My wife's family started contacting us about a week ago, wanting us to help them with the money for his surgery. My wife was the one who talked to her brother, then she came to tell me that we needed to pay money to help her family. Thing is, my salary and hers barely cover for our expenses and daily needs. She brought up the money I have saved up for my son and suggested we use some of it to help her family. She got mad when I said the money wasn't going anywhere, that my son is sick too, and is a priority to me and should be to her as well. She said she was pressured by her brother, who kept calling her and asking her to pay. I told her that it wasn't my problem. It's my responsibility as a parent to worry about what the future might hold for my son and be prepared. She got upset. She took it as in I don't care about her dad and how he's the only parent she has left. Trust me, I understand completely, but my son is my priority. He's literally dependent on me, and I need to make sure I'm there for him. I've had a lot of people close the door in my face when I was begging for money to pay for my son's hospital stays, and I can't let this happen again. She said that I worry too much and need therapy to deal with my issues, but I told her to stop asking because it was final. She wants to invite her brother to come talk to me and explain the situation, but if he shows up, I'll let him know that I'm not obligated to pay, since I'm already dealing with my own son's issues that keep coming up until now. I understand that my wife's family is family, and they're decent folks and don't deserve this, but my son is my priority. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. That money was specifically meant for your son's medical needs, and it would not make sense for you to use that for your father-in-law. Your wife is becoming a bigger a-hole by continuing to push your buttons until you give her the money. She knows exactly how hard it is for me. I haven't bought new clothes since God knows when. Haven't enjoyed a decent meal at a restaurant. My car has been in the garage for 4 months now because I don't have enough money to get it fixed. I do this to make sure I have money for anything that comes up in case my son needed a surgery or a device, and this stuff is expensive. Like I said, there's literally no one I can count on. They were all willing to see me struggle, and I'm talking about my family here. I've come to terms with it and I learned my lesson. Not the a-hole. I am a 55 female with a bad heart, and I'm looking at living less than 5 to 10 years. Not a lot when you compared it with a 9-year-old boy. I don't know how old father-in-law is, but he's lived his life, as have I. Your son, being only 9, still has lots of life to experience, good or bad. In my humble opinion, you did the right thing. I put myself in your shoes and came to my conclusion. I don't even like kids. Good luck. Talk to an attorney in your area about whether the funds are/can be protected in divorce, death, bankruptcy, etc. If you hold it in your own account, it may not be protected. Many states have a special needs trust, etc., and not the a-hole. This so much. You need to talk to a lawyer ASAP about how to put those funds into an account or under the authorization of a trust or a Uniform Transfers to Minor Act/Uniform Gifts to Minors Act, so that they can only be accessed for the child's benefit, even if she leaves you. You may have issues though if you're in a community property state. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not agreeing to a name change for my daughter despite her father wanting one? My ex and I were engaged, living together and planning on trying for kids after the wedding. The wedding got delayed, and I found out I was pregnant shortly after. My ex freaked out, insisted it couldn't be his baby because he wasn't ready to be a dad, that this was all happening too fast and wasn't how we planned it, and said he needed some time to think everything over. He then moved out, blocked me, and didn't answer any kind of attempt contact for 10 months. Our child was born without him there, and I named our daughter Elizabeth Laura Smith without his input. Elizabeth because I like it, and it reminds me of my favorite book character. I work in literature. Laura after my grandmother, and Smith is my surname. My ex has reached out. He said he waited this long because he wasn't sure how far along I was when we were together, but he figured the baby had to have been born by now. I said that his timing was a little off because she's 5 months old. Ex has said he's planning to sort out custody. We've not discussed logistics yet, but isn't likely to get anything before she turns 1. He asked if I'd named her yet, and I told him what I'd named her. Ex then said he hates that name. He thinks it sounds old and stuffy. He says that as his mother, Mary, has recently, November 2019, passed away, he wants to name our daughter Mary. He says Mary must be the first name, and that I can have either Elizabeth or Laura as the middle name. I made clear, in no certain terms, that I will not change her name. I hate the name Mary. I hate how it sounds, both alone and with Elizabeth/Laura Smith on the end of it. Plus, I didn't like his mother either, though I don't remind him of that. Ex said that if we're going to co-parent, then I have to learn to compromise, and this is the place to start. That it's unfair that I got to choose both her first and middle name. I said that if he hadn't blocked me for the better part of a year, he'd have been able to say all of this when she was born. Ex said that the above is proof that I'm being petty, and that he can't undo the past, but I can prevent any feelings of dislike/resentment from him over this name in the future. That as the father, he should have a say in his daughter's name. He also says that he's willing to let her be a Smith and not force me to use his surname, which he feels is proof he has already negotiated. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Pretty freaking ballsy of him to get a hold of you when your daughter is 5 goddamn months old, and the first thing he does is start making demands. I'm not even sure how he's timed this. She was a month premature, but even then, he was 4 months late to the estimate birth and didn't speak to me for 10 months. The best math I can offer is, he's assumed I was only a few weeks along when we were last together, when I was actually closer to 4 months, and then he just counted out 40 weeks, but that still doesn't make sense. Not an a-hole, and it's unfair that I got to choose both her first and middle name. You know what's unfair? Having to go through pregnancy and giving birth to a child by yourself, because someone who thought themselves ready to be your partner bailed when it got difficult. That is not fair. It's not about you being unwilling to compromise. He missed out on his chance to name his daughter because he was too afraid/unprepared to be there. Definitely pick to stay or to go. He'll be such an unstable influence in the girl's life. Jesus, what a clown. Not the a-hole. Jesus, wow. If this is real, you should continue the no contact. This guy is unstable. It's unfortunately real. He seems sane enough, but he's been able to get in touch because none of my contact info has changed. I even still live in our old flat, though I've changed the lock since he moved out. If he wants to contact me, I'm not sure how to stop him. And if we end up debating custody, he could say that I'm trying to keep him away from Elizabeth by not answering his attempts at contact. Now let's read the next story. Am I the a-hole for not taking off my dad's ashes necklace when my fiancé asked? I, 23, lost my dad to cancer. Cancer is a horrible disease. My dad was and still is very important to me. He had such a great impact on my life. He was a single parent and he raised me and my brother by himself. Never remarried, never complained, not even once. I'm a medical student and I'm looking forward to do my own research on this topic, lung cancer, and I want to help others using my knowledge and also my skills. He inspired me to be in this field, and I'm determined on doing all I can to achieve this goal. We had him cremated. My brother made a necklace of his ashes and gave me one too. It's all I have of him, and it gives me comfort. It's an angel-shaped necklace. My fiancé and I have been together for 3 years. He knew my dad and was there for him before he passed away. My fiancé has been supportive and sympathetic, but ever since I got the necklace, he'd start making comments and giving his opinions, even though this makes me uncomfortable. He'd say that we should have had a burial service instead of cremation, that my dad had a right to have a final resting place. He said he didn't think that wearing a necklace with my dad's ashes is a good idea because he thought that it was disrespectful, but I don't see how. He told me to only wear it at home, then told me to take it off after 7 p.m. for no reason. Then he says I should keep it in the closet and only wear it at the church. We argued about it for days. He said that having a necklace will only hold me back and keep me from moving on. He asked how come I'm a medical student and believe in spiritual stuff that aren't logical. He came home with a necklace that he said he wanted me to have, even though there was no occasion. He said he just wanted me to wear it as a symbol of our relationship. Last night, while I was making dinner, he saw my dad's necklace and asked why I was wearing it instead of the one he bought me. I called him ridiculous because this necklace is way more important since it has my dad's ashes. He argued that he already told me he was uncomfortable. He didn't, with it, and that he spent X money to get me that stunning necklace that I kept in the closet. I had enough of it, and I went into my room. He then asked me if I'll get a necklace with his ashes if he dies, since clearly this is my mentality. He said he had no problem with me wearing the necklace, but he couldn't help feel like he was being second to my dad whenever he sees it. He said he couldn't help feel this way. I refused to take it off after this, and I went to stay with my brother. So far, he hasn't even called and I felt awful about it. Now for the top comments. This man is jealous of your dead father and treating him like he's your ex. Run! A bit hypocritical for him to say you're being illogical and attaching spiritual meanings to things when that's exactly what he's doing. Real unclear how this is at all a threat to your relationship, except that he's making it one. I'd reconsider this engagement. He's got control issues. Stay with your brother for a while. This dude is slipping quickly into controlling territory. Don't overlook this warning sign. It's time to move on. Not an a-hole. What? Not an a-hole. I was expecting him to ask you not to wear it while you were intimate with him. 'Cause yeah, that would be uncomfortable. But he seems to be making up arbitrary rules. If you can't see the difference between a significant other relationship and a parental relationship, maybe he's not the guy for you, or anyone. Side note, is he also controlling in other aspects of your life? He sounds controlling or extremely insecure and needs to be the most important person at all times. I feel like he's trying to dictate my grieving process. He doesn't understand that I'm taking my time to heal. I don't know why he thinks that I'm doing anything wrong. Not an a-hole. He's given you a great gift by showing what an insecure, controlling a-hole he is. Don't waste the gift. Dump him immediately. Your dad wouldn't want you wasting another second with this turd. Wait until fiancé finds out that OP is in fact 50% off her dad. Her dad lives in her very skin, so he's always with her. If anything ever happens to the necklace, OP should try to remember that to feel comfort. It's how I deal with my mom's death 2 years ago. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for leaving my wife at her parents' house? Me, male 23, and my wife, female 23, have been married for 6 months, and this is the first time we have not spent a night together. She's also 3 months pregnant, and has been constantly telling me how much she misses her family, and wants to spend a few nights at theirs. She basically just wants to be cooked for and cleaned after. She moved 100 miles to stay in my city, and we visit her hometown every month because she gets dental treatment that's prepaid for. We usually get a hotel, but we decided she should stay at her family and I stay with mine as I have family nearby. Last night, she expressed to me how much she missed me and told me she can't be without me. I was meant to pick her up this evening, but she changed her mind telling me she's staying for a week. I told her whatever makes her happy, and she got angry saying she just wanted to see if I wanted to be without her. I laughed it off and told her I was coming then. She said to forget it and she'll see me in a week. She also said some hurtful things to me, saying to enjoy living in filth for the week, and she does all the cleaning and cooking for us. And how I'm horrible that I would just leave without insisting my wife comes home with me. I also took her car because it's the only car between us, and there's no transports back home due to lockdown. UK. She's saying I left her there without her car and she can't even go see her favorite cafes in her hometown, as it's not within walking distance. Am I the a-hole for leaving her? I also think it's the pregnancy hormones affecting her thinking. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Sounds like she's having a bit of a moment. I'm a female and I have had 2 pregnancies. Sounds like a moment too. You're not the a-hole. Good luck. Parenthood is hard. I hope you understand that pregnancy creates such a hormonal imbalance that it is common for someone to react emotionally to things they normally wouldn't. However, the feelings they have that they are reacting to can usually be feelings they already had before, and thus need to be addressed. I'm concerned over the way you worded her wanting to visit family. She wants to be cooked and cleaned after, and then you mentioned she argued that she does all the work in the house. If she is honestly feeling this way, you may want to talk to her honestly about this instead of shrugging it off. The way you worded the cook and cleaned after bit also makes me suspect that she's doing more work than she'd like to do. I'm not sure if this is a nay-haul situation or not. I think this is a post best looked through on r/relationships or adjacent subs. Or besides that, maybe try to discuss things with her because it's obvious things need to be addressed. Not a-hole, but you kind of word things about the mother of your childlike one. Ding ding ding! He glossed over why she wanted to stay at her family. Missing family might also equate to, I'm tired of doing everything. The fact that you took her car to leave is wild. If you have family nearby, why would you take her car and leave her without transportation? There is so much missing here. I kinda think you're the a-hole. I feel like you've left part of the story out here. There's obviously a reason she wants the comfort of home. During pregnancy, you should be taking care of her more. It takes a lot to grow a whole new human being. I feel like there's more to this to explain her behavior. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you with the next one. Stay safe.